Afternoon.
Hey. Just wanted to ask a bit about Zach Kassian. When he's sort of at the top of his game, he leaves a big footprint on the game, and he can change the course of a hockey game. We're seeing more of that lately. What kind of happened in the last little bit? Because necessarily that way at the start.
I know that he had a good conversation with Jimmy Johnson, and Jimmy shared some of his thoughts with Zach, and not necessarily from that point on, but I think he got him thinking about a few things. His line mates are playing significant roles in the game as well, which helps him. But I like your analogy of leaving a footprint on the game. He's been doing that lately. Forget about scoring, but just the forecheck, the energy that he gives off so his teammates can feed off of it. It's been a positive thing for our team.
The way those three guys are going, does that almost change the way you can coach a game, just throwing them out?
Well, you saw against Toronto, their minutes went up. I don't believe in first, second, third, fourth line, and you got to roll them out like that. I think you go with your gut and who's playing well and who isn't. And in that Toronto game, they did get scored on a couple times, but they had a really good night, and that's just the way guys get rolled out. So if they continue to play well and move ahead of other players, they'll get more minutes.
Can you talk about Luch's play of late? He's got 8 points in his last 8 games.
Yeah, Milan's been he's been really good. He's been good on the bench and in the locker room as well. His leadership skills are coming through right now, and he's reconnected with Connor. I think that line has been strong. Yes, he's complemented it when it's been there, but his feet are getting him to places now where his physicality is valued. And he's scored some goals going to the blue paint and in the blue paint. He's shown signs of nastiness, which is a big part of his game as well. So when all those variables come together, it's a pretty darn good player.
Brossoit said that he's going to start against Philadelphia. Can you maybe just discuss what you've seen from him this year, where he's had some really good stretches, and he's had some tough goals, and just how maybe he's dealing with these ups and downs, and
Well, the consistency, as you kind of just described my answer. He's had some really good stretches, and then some moments, and they're not very long moments. They're not game or 2 games long. It's just fraction of games where he's got to remain focused. He's got to stay in it and provide us with the ordinary save. He's made some extraordinary saves, particularly against Toronto, where he used his legs and moved across the crease. Those are very much appreciated because those are severe breakdowns on our behalf. But the ordinary save is the one that we're looking for as well, and we have confidence that he can do that.
Without slighting Laurent Brossoit, do you want to see what you have in Nick Ellis before Cam Talbot comes back and is healthy?
For me, we're dealing with Philadelphia tomorrow, and we're going to see LB, and I want to see a good, strong LB.
Is there anything in the way of an update for Talbot in his timeline? Originally, you'd said 2 weeks. Has that changed, and is Larson's timeline clearer?
Talbot's timeline is generally the same. He'll likely get on the ice a little later this week, and we'll see how he's feeling at that point. He's walking around. He feels great, but it's just some of the movements that he has to make that affect him or could slow down the healing process. And Lars is going to be perhaps a little bit longer than we thought. He tried to skate yesterday, had a bit of a setback, so it could be a little bit longer.
What's the strategy or the timeline for integrating the new guys into the lineup? Do you want to get him in there as quick?
Well, in my opinion, we don't have to integrate Davey. He's probably more comfortable here than even in Montreal. He spent more time here. He understands our demeanor as a coaching staff, his teammates, gets the team, the community, the environment. So there's not a desperate need to integrate him. Nathan, on the other hand, is a player that's taking in a lot over the past 2 days. We'll make some lineup decisions tonight and tomorrow. I'm often one to reward the group that got the job done the night before, and that's not a slight on Davey or Nathan for not going if they don't go tomorrow. It's just rewarding the group that got the job done.
Todd, your team's up to 5th in goals for 5-on-5 in the NHL, which obviously is very good. Your goals against, penalty kill, not great. 5-on-5, not good. what is the team collectively? I know goaltending, defense, everybody, but what are you seeing that's not happening in your defensive zone that was there last year? Why is there such a drastic difference in your goals for against?
Well, on any given night, it can vary. A large percentage of those have come on the power play, or pardon me, the other team's power play, our penalty kill. And that number is way up, so we've been concerned about that for a long time now. 5-on-5, I think we turn pucks over, not necessarily in and around our net or below the goal line, but in some pretty dangerous areas where there's room to transition. At our blue line, just outside in the neutral zone, where teams can get some pace and come back at us. And I think we've given up goals in those situations, similar to the chances that Toronto had early in the first. So that has to get cleaned up. And just our overall D-zone awareness. We're a better face-off team than we have been in the past, yet we have to work hard to come out of our end. There's another example of spending less time in the D-zone.
Todd, just here to your left. Sorry, that's loud. When a player gets sick twice in 2 weeks, does that do you have any more input into just checking on what's going on, or it's just going through the team and we'll leave it at that?
And you're obviously talking about Connor because he was the only guy that was sick twice. Connor's initial illness had nothing to do with the secondary one. It was completely two different things. The secondary one has gone through our team. I'm guessing there's 6 or 7, 8 guys that have had it now, including staff that travels with the team. Keep in mind we were on the road for 18 of 20-some days. Germs seem to travel, and it's tough to be around each other and stay germ-free. So I think that's traveled a little bit throughout the team. But we are on, our awareness of hands and water bottles and taking care of ourselves has gone up. And the training staff's making everybody aware of it because what's going through us right now is more like a 24 or 36 hour. Originally thought it was food poisoning, and I see other teams using that term, but we've kind of ruled the food poisoning thing out.